Poseidon, also referred to as Status-6 or Canyon, is described publicly as a large, autonomous, unmanned underwater vehicle built around a nuclear power plant and a heavy nuclear warhead. Analysts and official Russian statements frame it as a strategic second strike system intended to complicate coastal defense and missile defense planning by introducing a delivery method that operates under the sea for long durations. The warhead capacity attributed to Poseidon is a subject of significant uncertainty and debate. Open source reporting and policy briefs commonly report a wide range of estimates, with many experts treating a few megatons, often around 2 megatons, as the most plausible public estimate, while other claims once circulated that are far larger remain unverified and disputed. The important point for a viewer is that even a low single-digit megaton yield is vastly more powerful than the strategic weapons used in the mid-20th century, and would produce catastrophic local destruction and long-lasting radioactive contamination if detonated near a populated coastline. Beyond yield, Poseidon's defining feature is its propulsion and endurance. It is reported to be nuclear-powered, giving it the theoretical ability to travel extremely long distances and to loiter for extended periods without refueling in a way that conventional battery-powered or diesel cannot. This nuclear propulsion concept is the rationale for many of the strategic claims about the system's unlimited range and endurance in public descriptions. Whether that theoretical endurance translates into reliable operational performance in contested environments remains an open question. The vehicle's form factor and systems are often described in broad strokes rather than technical detail, which means descriptions focus on capabilities rather than engineering blueprints. Reported features include autonomy for navigation and targeting, a hardened hull for deep operation, acoustic signature management to reduce detectability, and guidance that can combine satellite navigation with inertial systems and onboard sensors. Public speculation also discusses the potential for multiple operational modes: slow, stealthy transit for long legs, and a higher speed terminal mode. But the exact hardware and software implementations are not published in any authoritative technical manual. Explosive power and its effects deserve separate emphasis because they are easy to misrepresent. A multi-megaton underwater detonation produces different effects from an airburst. Much of the blast energy couples into the water, creating a massive shock in the immediate vicinity and producing severe local overpressure, massive base surge, and seawater contamination. Claims that a single detonation would generate continent-spanning tsunamis are not supported by mainstream geophysical analysis. Experts caution that while a large underwater nuclear explosion could cause severe local and regional damage, tsunami generation at the sensational scale is sometimes described as unlikely. Nonetheless, coastal cities and ports in the blast and fallout zones would face catastrophic humanitarian and environmental consequences. Range and endurance are central to Poseidon's strategic narrative. Because the system is reported to carry a nuclear reactor for propulsion, public sources frequently describe its range as effectively intercontinental or unlimited, while the reactor operates with analysts citing transit distances measured in thousands of kilometers as plausible. That endurance allows launch from distant waters and complicates coastal defense planning because the platform can approach from many directions and potentially loiter until a favorable attack vector is detected. These are conceptual and strategic implications rather than precise, independently verified technical specifications. Speed and operating depth are two other capability axes that commentators highlight. Open reporting offers a broad spread of numbers. Estimates of top speed often range into tens of knots up to claims in excess of 7,100 knots for brief terminal sprints. And operating depths are sometimes reported as several hundred meters to around 1,000 meters. Faster speeds and deeper operation, if achieved, would place the vehicle beyond the envelope of many conventional torpedoes and some legacy anti-submarine sensors, increasing the difficulty of detection and interception in some scenarios. Again, public figures are estimates rather than manufacturer's specifications. Launch platforms that have been publicly associated with Poseidon include modified strategic submarines built or adapted to carry the vehicle, with the Belgorod and the Khabarovsk class frequently named as likely carriers in open sources. Those submarines are configured to carry one or several of the vehicles and to deploy them in patrol areas away from national territorial waters, which fits the strategic logic of a second strike capability capable of reaching distant shorelines. There have also been unconfirmed reports and design patterns suggesting seabed or containerized staging options, but submarine launch remains the principal method discussed in authoritative reporting. Defense evasion is central to the system's intended purpose. Operating beneath the sea surface reduces the avenues available to missile defense networks that are designed primarily to intercept ballistic and cruise missiles in flight. Poseidon's combination of low, observable acoustic techniques, depth, endurance, and potential high-speed terminal maneuvers, if realized, would make it a challenging target for existing anti-submarine warfare ASWA assets, especially in deep ocean transit. At the same time, technical challenges in reliably building and operating long-range autonomous nuclear-powered vehicles, the cost of deployment, and evolving ASWA investments mean that the practical balance between threat and countermeasure will be determined over time, not by headline claims alone. Strategically, Poseidon functions as much as a signaling and deterrent tool as a battlefield instrument. Its public disclosure and the narratives around its capabilities shape adversary calculations about coastal vulnerability of conventional forces. For audiences watching today, the takeaway is that Poseidon represents an attempt to expand nuclear delivery options in ways that exploit the maritime domain, but the precise limits of its warfighting effectiveness remain subject to expert debate and verification. In discussing Poseidon, it is important to avoid sensationalism while acknowledging its real strategic implications. The system combines attributes: a large warhead, nuclear propulsion, long endurance and autonomy that change the geometry of nuclear planning and ASWA counter-planning, but public information is partial and contested. For responsible reporting or explanation, emphasize verified facts where available, present plausible ranges for uncertain parameters, and make clear which claims remain unverified so audiences understand both the potential and the limits of what is known.